Welcome, everyone. We're so glad to have you with us today. I'm very excited to offer this interview. This is part of a series that we've done here at Guided Path, interviewing experts in higher education and talking about Generation Z and what that means. We're all working with Generation Z, and they are a different generation than previous generations that we've worked with. And we've been exploring this year what makes them different and how that's important to us, and especially how that's important to higher education. So today I'm very glad to have with me Stefano Papaleo. He is the Director of Undergraduate Admissions at Lynn University. Welcome, Stefano.
Thank you very much, Cindy. I'm very happy to be here.
We're glad to have you. So tell us a little bit about how you got into higher education.
Sure. So I'm actually, I'm not from, originally from the US. I was born and raised in Rome, Italy. And I was recruited to play tennis for Lynn University. And I did not know what to expect from my experience. I ended up absolutely loving every single minute of my experience here in the US, and especially here at Lynn University. And after my undergraduate degree, I started working in the Office of Admission as a graduate assistant. So I could go through my graduate studies, and the university, and in fact paid for my studies. And I found the field to be so exciting, so enthralling, that I decided to, or actually I was offered to stay after my graduate assistantship. And I think it was the best decision I could have made, because it's my 20th year in the Office of Admission. And it's been, every minute has been more exciting than the next. I absolutely love the field of higher education and the ability. I think we're very, which is so, it's so incredible to be, to have the ability to work with students, and to work with families, and to really help them make one of the most important decisions in their lives. And I think we're really blessed to be able to be in this environment. And it it's never dull, and it's always changing, and it's an exciting time for all of us to be in higher education. And I'm very, very happy to be in the field.
So since you've been doing this for this many years, you've seen different generations come through that you've worked with. You had your generation and other generations that you worked with over the years. What makes this Generation Z, different?
Well, I remember when I was a student in my senior year at Lynn University in 1996, I remember sending my first email message. And I thought that was the most incredible thing that had ever happened in my life, as far as technology is concerned. And I was, so amazed. But that speaks in and of itself of the changes that we've gone through in just such a pretty short period of time in the last 20, 30 years in our world. And Generation Z is definitely very, very different. We should not combine it with with what we think of the millennials, because they are remarkably different. We see that a lot of the students that are coming in now, they're coming to visit, and we get, because we are a smaller university, we get to sit down with students during the application process, and we get to learn a lot about them as people, as persons, not just reading the application. And it's very, very interesting to see, when they light up, and when they, they get excited about what we get to tell them. And I know for a fact that, some of the things that we're doing in Lynn work specifically well for this generation. I know that, obviously they're digital natives, so they were born after 1996, which is the year I actually mentioned when I first sent my first email as a university senior. And so I don't have any specific research to talk about, but I know for sure that their brain is wired differently than ours, in a way that we're not able to multitask as well as they do. We're not able to really connect with the digital environment as well as we do. And I think they learn best when they have the ability to really connect with materials that is presented to them in a digital format. Also, what gets them really, really excited when I talk to them, and we're sitting on the couch outside here at the Office of Admission, is when I talk about how, what we do at Lynn as far as the ability for us to work with them on changing, really having a positive effect on the planet and everything that has to do with social impact. They're very, very, very excited about that. I was reading some research. Over 3/4 of the students that are coming out of high school have volunteered while they were in high school. Some of them really are interested in business that not only make money, but they have a double bottom line where they really want to do well, but they also want to do good. That's very, very important to them, and I feel that that's something that it's important in their educational environment, and something that needs to be offered to them as for a university experience. So it's been very, very interesting to see how different they are. Obviously, they're tech savvy. They are entrepreneurs. Many of them have started businesses just in high school. They're incredibly social. They like to connect with people all the time, and they're also very, very educated. If they want to find something, they will find a way to learn it, whether it's through a YouTube lecture, or whether it's through but they are just specialists in the areas that they're interested in. They know everything about it. So it's a very, very interesting generation that, as I said before, it's very, very different from the millennials and from our generations before them.
So that alludes to the point that since this is such a connected generation, the entrepreneurship, the social responsibility, those are all things that have been found to be very prominent for Generation Z. And I know Lynn University has done some very innovative things to help meet those learning needs of those students. So can you tell us a little bit about where that came from, the research that prompted that, and what Lynn University does to help meet those innovative needs, learning needs of students?
Yeah, absolutely. I think first and foremost, universities have the responsibility to teach students where the students are. So I think teaching a curriculum that was designed 50 years ago, 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, I think university really should continue to innovate, no matter what they teach, no matter how they teach. And at Lynn, we believe that the only thing that is constant in the world is change. And we know that that's absolutely true. And I think we have a president who's very progressive, is incredibly forward-thinking, and has allowed us the ability to really look at the research and see what this Generation Z wants to do, wants to learn when they come to university, and really adapt our university to them, not necessarily the other way around. And I think that that's the way it should be, because a university should, in my opinion, really cater to the students and allow for the students to have the best possible learning environment. So a couple of the things that we've done, we were one of the first universities in the world to start talking to Apple. And what we did with Apple is that we developed, alongside with them, we were actually the first university in the world to actually launch a completely digital curriculum. So every single thing that we do at the university is delivered through an iPad. So students right now, they're receiving an iPad Pro, and everything that they do. So all of the books at the university, all of the assignments that they do, and everything that they do is done through this platform. So they use the iPad to read the books, and the books are very exciting for them to read, because they have pictures that come to life, they have videos, they have multiple choice testing that is built into the book. If they want to listen to the book, they can listen to the book. The book will automatically make flashcards for them for for the areas that they're interested in. So it really are, they're able to actually interact with the materials that they're studying. And that really does make a difference in the way that they're actually engaged with the material and the way that they actually learn. And we're testing this, and we know that the students are learning a lot more, and they're a lot more excited about learning than they were before we introduced this system. So that's one thing that we've done that I think it's very, very, very different from most other universities around the country and around the world. Something else that we've done that I think it's very important, and it goes back to some of the Generation Z characteristics, is that we've created the largest social impact lab in the country. So we've built a brand new building, which was inaugurated just last February. And on the third floor of this building, we have a 10,000 square foot Center for Social Impact. And that's where we engage the students with companies that want to do good. So we have a floor where companies, startup companies, companies that are already established, can come and actually work with our students. They can rent space on that floor and really interact with the students. On top of that, we have a program where students can really do good for themselves. So we have different programs where they can volunteer locally or internationally and go out and really make a difference in the world. And we also house the Watson Institute at Lynn University, which is one of the few bachelor's programs in social entrepreneurship in the country, where students can enroll in for a specific cause that they want to develop. And in 3 years, they're going to build their project, their organization, their company from zero to full implementation. So it's an incredibly strong program that allows students that really want to make a difference in the world. So those are some of the things that we're doing that I think have been very impactful. And going back to the conversation that I was mentioning before, the conversations that we have with students when they come and visit, it's very interesting to see where their eyes light up when you talk to them about very specific things that we do here at Lynn. And that's, to me, it's very rewarding to know that a university is so forward-thinking, is so advanced, that is able to really adapt to where the students are nowadays, and deliver and develop a learning environment that is specifically designed for them.
So you mentioned how now everything is digital, and that students are delivered instruction through the iPad Pros. How did the faculty react to having to adjust from the traditional lecture, here's a book, to turning it into a digital format? What was that process like for them?
So that was a very interesting process. When we first launched the program about 8 years ago, we had some of the faculty that was not very excited about the changes, and some of the faculty that was all gang-go about, let's do it, let's get it done, let's this is for the students, and we understand. And you probably can imagine that some of the maybe the older faculty was the ones that didn't feel really comfortable. But I think the key is to provide the faculty with enough support to be able to to work even with the ones that are not maybe so technology that don't know technology as well as maybe the younger faculty. And it's interesting. I'll tell you a story that pretty much exemplifies the situation. There was a faculty that had been teaching for over 40 years, and he said that once they gave him the iPad, he didn't even unwrap it. He just put it in a drawer in his desk, and he didn't want to know anything about it. He didn't want to learn anything about it. And then a year later, he told me, I wouldn't know how to teach without the iPad. So he went from like zero to completely being one of the most excited people about utilizing technology. And it's because the professor saw the interaction that you can have with the students when you speak their same language, right? So despite the fact that it was a big learning curve for him, he realized how important that was. And I think that's the key. It's developing a culture within a university where people really believe in what they're doing. And I think here at Lynn, there is a widespread culture of innovation and of service to the students. So that was the main thing. And what's interesting is that students also self-select who their faculty members that they're going to select for their courses are. Because if the word spreads that the professor is not going to teach using the technology that they enjoy, you know what? They're just not going to take their classes. And a good thing for the professor. And I got to say that we have one big advantage here, Lynn. We don't have tenure. So it's one of those things that really has allowed us in 1 year to change the mentality and to change the culture of the university, from not having any technology or just having the technology that every other university has to moving to this revolutionary educational platform.
So that talks about the faculty perspective, and it's interesting to hear how somebody can truly be converted once they've seen it in action. And what have the students' learning experience been, especially with Generation Z, because they've grown up with technology? I mean, it's second nature to them. And I loved your comments about the social impact lab, and love to explore that a little bit more. But so what do the students say, in terms of, you talked about how you tell them about that. What is their experience once they get on campus like?
So 97% of the students tell us that they feel that the experience, so the educational experience has been enhanced by this platform. So they really believe that the words that I use, it's fun to study. It's exciting to learn on the digital platform. They love the interactivity of the books, because the books really come to life when you look at the books. Just think of the fact that a professor could potentially change the book overnight. So if there is something that changes, let's say it's an international relations class, and there is a major war that breaks out, or a major political event that takes place, the professors could actually write a piece, write an article, pull an article into the book, and upload it to the students overnight. So it's really a living and breathing document, which is not necessarily true of the books that we purchase, that are real books, or even the PDF versions of the books that are now published. Because all of our professors, not all of our professors, but the majority of the books that we have at Lynn are actually written by our faculty members, and they're curated by our faculty members. So they're designed specifically for our students, just like our professors would like to teach. So they're not using someone else's words or someone else's ideas, and it really has an incredible impact on the students, because the students are actually going to be studying with the professors that actually wrote the book, and it really makes a huge difference. From an enrollment management standpoint, I can tell you, Cindy, that one of the things that makes me most happy is that when we survey the students. This past year, 76% of the students told us that they chose Lynn because of our technology, because of our iPad initiative, and that to me, it's priceless. As you know, it's a very interesting time for university, especially small to medium-sized universities, and have the ability to really cater to this generation to a level that most universities can't, gives us a very big advantage from an enrollment management standpoint, and being able to attract the students that we really want to attract to the university.
So what about your international students? I also know that you have a large percentage, probably one of the largest percentage of international students of all the universities in the United States. How does this benefit them?
Well, again, I think that I was listening to Corey C. Miller's presentation that she did with you not too long ago, and she was comparing some of the countries, some of the international populations as it relates to Generation Z, and there's really not that much difference. There might be like specific areas that have to do with specific countries. Whether it's the political situation or anything else that might be going on in relation to a specific country. But in general, students are so much more interconnected than they ever were. With social media and with the ability to go on YouTube and find out everything that they can possibly find. I think that international students really act much more similar to domestic students in Generation Z than they did in the past. So we always knew that there were differences there's still going to be differences in culture, differences in other areas, but I think the way that they relate to the digital format of in the digital instruction is the same across the world. So we see that the students are just as excited, whether they're coming from Japan, from Dubai, or from France, about our digital initiative and everything else that we have to offer. Maybe I've noticed a little less of an excitement about maybe volunteering and maybe really wanting to change the world, because some of their school systems don't really introduce that into the curriculum. But if they come from an IB school internationally, or if they come from an international school, they will act and think exactly like their U.S. counterparts.
So, and that makes a lot of sense, but I can see where having the digital connection would really be attractive to international students as well, because it makes it more accessible for them, coming from the variety of cultural and, geographic areas that they come from. So anything else that you can tell us about meeting students' needs? And as I said, like the Social Impact Lab, I've not heard of that in any other university. What other things have you found, or the university found, to meet those needs of students?
Yeah, the Social Impact Lab, it's a very close to my heart. It's something that I really believe in. It's something that it's very exciting for me specifically, but for the entire university. And actually, we've just launched a brand new strategic plan at the university, and we have embedded social innovation in every single major that we have. So there's going to be opportunities to explore social innovation, whether the students are in the Conservatory of Music or in the business program or in the communication program or any other major that we offer, because we really believe that that's important to this generation, but it's important to the future of of our planet and of our country. So it's something that we really believe in, and it's something that I feel it's very unique to Lynn. So we're trying to bring this culture as a family, as a university. Something else that we have been doing is that we feel that not only do we need to cater to Generation Z, but we also need to be a bridge between Generation Z and the world of work, right? And just catering to Generation Z is not enough. You also have to see what's on the other side of the tunnel, right? What's on the other side of the bridge, and really trying to understand what the world of work really means today and what employers really need from students. So we've been doing a lot of research from that relates with the students that are coming into the university. We're also been doing and reading a lot of research as it relates to when the students graduate, whether they're going to go to grad school or to the world of work. So we know a couple of things about that. We know that obviously the soft skills are as important as they've ever been, even though we're moving to a very technological world. The ability to communicate, to think critically, and to work in small groups is as important as it's ever been. So we have completely redesigned our curriculum at Lynn to make sure that those skill sets are actually developed in a very, very innovative way, but also very, very specifically throughout the 4 years that the students are going to be during their undergraduate is experienced here at Lynn. We also know that in order for students to understand how to work in small groups, you have to build areas where they can work in small groups. I remember when I was a student, obviously we didn't have those same type of spaces that we have now here at the university, and many universities are building across the country. And anytime we had a group project, we had to meet in someone's dorm, and some people would sit on the floor, some people would sit on the bed, and we tried to figure out how to do it. And now I think it's important to build a space where students can meet with 2, 3, 4, 10 people and really work on their group projects. So that's something that we've worked really earnestly in developing, and all the latest buildings that have been built at Lynn reflect this. Also, something else that I think is very important is that this generation, they tend to not be as they don't have a schedule as strict as we used to have. So they don't necessarily eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They don't necessarily eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner at 8 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and 6 p.m. I mean, they're just go on their own pace. They kind of build their own schedule, and they work better at certain times of the day, and that's fine to them. So one thing that we've done that I think it's brilliant is that we have expanded the hours of our dining hall, so of our cafeteria, to 24 hours. So students can really be who they are whenever they want to be, and that also helps with when you have student athletes that have very crazy schedules, and sometimes they practice until late at night, and they need a place to go to eat, or some of the students that might be not morning people, and they stay up until late at night and need a place to eat, and they need a place to study, and so on and so forth. So I think that universities are changing the way they do things, but I'm very excited about how we've done that, and how I guess we were one of the first movers in this type of idea that you need to serve this generation and not the way around.
Well, and that's exciting to hear too, because you point out that it's not just the educational, but also the social and the emotional and all those different things to help meet the needs of students. So just opening the dining hall and extending the hours, what a difference that can make for students. And sometimes we as institutions, even as counselors in our own institutions, get kind of rigid in terms of the rules and things. And a lot of times there's no specific reason, or we've outgrown the reason, and yet it's really hard to make those shifts. So I commend you and the university for being open to that. So now I know I see a lot of people who are on the call, the interview today, and I'm sure some of you that are listening have some questions for Stefano. So there is a question box in the Zoom. So now is the time, if you have a question that you would like to pose, now would be a good time to ask that and share that. If while we're waiting to see if anybody has any questions, if they want to learn more, what do you recommend? How do they learn more about the innovations and the things that Lynn has? I know you have a video that I've seen that talks about all of this. So I'll post it on our blog afterwards, so people will be able to see that video that shares some of the innovations that Lynn has. How else can they learn more? What would you like them to do?
We're always at all the conferences, from the NACX and all the regional ACX, as well as HECA, ICA. So we're always more than happy to connect with people in any way. You can connect with us individually. Obviously, if you're in the area, we would highly suggest to come and visit and take a walk around campus, because it really does feel different than most other places. I keep seeing it in people faces when they come, and the feedback that we receive. The most common comment that I hear is like, I had no idea, and I did not realize that the Lynn was so different from other institutions. So I think it's a great, for anybody that might be vacationing down here or coming down here for work, it's definitely worth coming by and looking at the institution. One of the things that we do here, it's a very individualized and custom designed visit experience. So if anybody's working with any students that might be interested in Lynn, I think going to lynn.edu/visit, students have the ability to really custom design their visit based on what their needs are. And we have no group tours here from Monday through Friday. So when students come in, we really look at the students' needs, interests, and wants, and we customize the visit based on what they want to achieve from their visit. So we select a specific tour guide that might be from the same area or might have the same major as the person that is visiting. We're going to connect them with faculty members. We're going to connect them with coaches, and we have specific programs that we can also offer during the visit. The other way, on our website, there are some very interesting and specific information about our iPad initiative, our technology that we use. And I think the best way to do it is to really go to our strategic plan, which is lynn.edu/strategy. By going to that strategic plan, one can really see how why we're doing what we're doing and how we're going about really implementing our strategic plan and trying to continue being as innovative as we possibly can as an institution.
Well, that sounds very exciting. And I also realize that one of the populations we haven't talked about, but I know thrives really well at Lynn University, is students with learning differences. And that innovative type approach really helps them, support them in their learning as well. Is that true?
Oh, that's another area where we've seen where technology has really aided, has really helped with that population. About 15 to 17% of our students come in with a diagnosed learning difference in Lynn, and the ability for the technology that we use to really help the students. One of the things that I mentioned before is the books can be read to the students by the actual iPad. So, and there's so many applications that we also include with the package that allow students to study better and to help with their whatever their challenge might be in their for students that have dyslexia, dysgraphia, dyscalculia. There's so many applications that can be embedded into the iPad and into the operating system that allow them to really get have a much better and a much more exciting experience when studying, because it's as we know, Apple is one of the is really on the forefront of helping people in general with disabilities, and when that's applied to the educational environment, it really shines.
Wow, that's very exciting. Well, thank you very much. It looks like you've answered everybody's questions. I'm not seeing any other questions, but we will be making this recording available so that people can learn more and reach out to you. And thank you, Stefano, so much for your time and your generosity. You've always been a leading example in all the things that you do. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Cindy. Thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to speak today, and best of luck with the rest of the podcast.
All right. Well, thank you.